Right, so a few things I want to address before this starts. Firstly, yeah, the visuals are shit, I know. I am working on getting something better for next time. Secondly, yes, I know my commentary is shit. I've not done anything like this before, but oh well. And obviously, if you don't know, this is sort of a fake series. The series is sort of a review of a version of Doctor Who where it survived the cancellation of '89, and I've been doing my own series for this, which I'll be linking down below so you can go check out. So season 27 was to be the end of an era for the show. It would be the last for Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred in their roles, as well as J&T's last season as producer after doing a 10-year run. Andrew Cartmel stepped down as script editor after season 26 to work on Casualty, so Nathan Turner placed Aronovich as script editor. You can tell Aronovich wasn't ready for the role yet, as this season feels slightly out of place with the rest of McCoy's. The season also introduced one of the best companions ever, Rain Cunningham, and one of the oddest TARDIS interiors yet, as previously all the rest of the tiny console, this one floated and was held up by the ceiling. So the first episode is Earth Aid, or as I nickname it, the Budget of Death. The story is set on this spaceship called the Vancouver, and Ace is in charge of it. The ship's mission is to transport the plant stuff, grain, from Earth to Safan's home with a Metatroxy. The race that will only attack you if you're holding a weapon or proposes a threat to it. However, the Metatroxy end up attacking the ship. I quite like the idea of the Metatroxy, although in my opinion they look a bit too similar to that dragon from Dragonfly a couple of years ago. The plot of the story is okay, but the budget really shows with this one. To save Doctor Who, they obviously moved it to BBC Two, but on BBC Two, the budget was like half than its average, which was already low, and you can really see the lowness in the budget in this one. Still, it's a good story, I guess. So with all these stories, I'll be giving a review out of 5. So Earth Aid, it's a good story, good plot, gives Ace a lot to do since she's leaving next episode. However, the budget is poor, or it's not really the show felt properly. I'd give this episode a 3 or 4 out of 5. Second story of the season is Thin Ice, and it is Ace's last. The reason for her leaving was the Doctor signed up to the Academy on Gallifrey to become a Time Lord. And while I think this was an interesting and original idea for a departure, I don't think Ace was near smart enough as she should be to become a Time Lord, so it is a bit weird. The story is also a bit of an introduction story. It introduces Rain's father, Sam, and also has Julia Swahala in her first role, however not as Rain, but as her mother, Raina. The story also sees the return of the Ice Warriors last seen in the 70s. It sees a group of Ice Warriors on Earth recovering a bunch of Ice Warrior equipment that ended up on Earth, and they used Sam along with the Doctor and Ace to help recover it. One of the items they recover is a helmet belonging to an Ice Warrior warlord named Seja. However, when Raina gets trapped in a helmet, Seja ends up possessing her and speeds up Raina's pregnancy, forcing Rain to be born. The story heavily relies on Ace, as the Doctor isn't allowed to help her, as it is part of her test to become a Time Lord. So after part 2, it mainly focuses on Ace, and you do see the Doctor here and there, but he's down on Earth with Sam, as she's left her in the Ice Warrior ship. Also, the story sees the debut of Nicholas Briggs in his first credit. Briggs would go on to have a massive impact in the show's history over through the 90s, noughties and the 10s. So my thoughts on Thin Ice. It's fucking brilliant. It's arguably the best Ice Warrior story to date. The music is great, McCoy and Eldra are on point, location footage looks brilliant, and the story itself is just so fucking good. I think the only thing that lets it down for me is that part 4 kinda drags a bit for me, but maybe that's just preference. My overall rating for Thin Ice is a 8 out of 10. Next story is Crime of the Century, and it's written by Andrew Carmel, even though he just left as script editor, which I've always found a bit weird, but okay. And it's the full introduction of Rain, even though she was introduced as a newborn master, so this is a full episode played by Swahala. Weirdly, Carmel brought back the Metatraxy from Airframe, which was 2 episodes ago. I don't know why they brought them back, because they weren't exactly memorable, but okay. The story is mainly about the Soviet Union 20 years on from the events of Thin Ice, trying to get hold of this alien weapon secured in this secure area, obviously, and at the same time the Metatraxy are trying to get it. So the Doctor teams up with Rain, who, fun fact, it's not really mentioned in the show, but the Doctor is actually Rain's godfather. The two team up to make sure neither side get it. So my thoughts on this story, I can't be honest, it's very forgettable in my opinion. Yes, Rain is fully introduced, and we obviously get to see Sam again, and it obviously establishes Sam's mansion, which was supposed to be for the 90s, but it just didn't happen. And the rushes are pretty cool, but I don't really enjoy the story. It's easily the weakest of this season, but I think anything like Baker's era or Davidson's era, it would have been considered really good, like Battlefield last season. So my overall rating would have to be a 5 out of 10. Everything's good, but I'm not a big fan of the story, to be honest. And Andrew Carmel, he was good at script editing, but writing stories I don't think were his thing. So the last story is Elixir, and it's also McCoy's the last. Sees a group of monks on the planet Elixian, where fucking else, feeding off strange potions that increases their life expectancy. And when the Doctor investigate the planet, they find a group of time beetles penned off in a cave underground. The beetles feed off the minds of the recently deceased monks to produce potions for the living monks. The Doctor is kidnapped by the monk's leader named the Abbot, played by Bob Monkhouse, which I'm sure that must have been weird when it was announced in the 90s that a comedic character was playing a dark role, but honestly, looking back at it, I think it works well. Like Airfade and Thin Ice, the story really focuses on the companions, which I kind of like that in 27. I like how it focuses on the companions more. But obviously instead of focusing on Ace, because she's gone now, we're focusing on Rain, who works with a group of anti-monks, I guess. I think they were called the Truth or something like that, I forget. Because apparently the beetles are endangered, and Abbott is breaking a bunch of rules. So she works with them to kick the Abbott off world and free the Doctor. Meanwhile, the Doctor's trapped in the Abbott's lair as he begins to experiment on him. He obviously tries escaping twice, but is caught both times by the Abbott. And when the Abbott discovers that the Doctor is a Time Lord, he researches through a book that doesn't fucking exist. He just says he does, but does nothing. And he finds out that a Time Lord's mind, plus the beetles, he can produce the potion that will give you immortality. So he does that, leaving Rain at a deadline. 2 days to save the Doctor's life, 2 days to stop the Abbott. Anyways, the monk and Rain are able to stop the Abbott and kick him off world, which according to the writer, he actually planned this ending for a sequel to the story, which didn't happen. Apparently the Abbott was supposed to return and plague the planet or something. Back on track, Rain finds the Doctor, and he finds that his mind is dying. Basically his mind's been damaged by the Time Beetles, consuming his mind, leaving it to mush. Which gives us a very disturbing and outlandish cause of regeneration, a dead mind. So Rain ends up taking the Doctor back to the TARDIS. He takes off before he dies, and he begins to regenerate in a fashion similar to Baked McCoy, but looking better because they got both the actors. And the final thing we see is the new 8th Doctor, Richard Griffiths. My thoughts on the story? Yeah, it's great. Monkhouse is great. Once again, the music is good. It's very chilling. I think Marquez was definitely the best out of Graham McCulloch and him. And I'm glad he ended up doing the theme in the next series. However, like AFA, the story suffers with budget. Though it's not as bad as it is in AFA, but you can tell this is where the budget was slowly running out, so some sets do look a bit tacky, but oh well, Doctor Who's always had a shit budget, and it's even worse on BBC Two. My overall rating would have to be a 7 out of 10. So my overall thought on the season, yeah, it was alright. I think it was better than 25, but not as good as 26. I think Carmel not being there, because he was the main guy who shifted the Doctor's characters we would learn in later years. So I think Aronovich being there made a bit of a difference. However, it is still a good series. All but one story I enjoy, and yeah, my overall rating for the series would have to be a 8 out of 10. So that's the end of this review. Next review I'll be doing, which is season 28, the first for the new producer Ian Fraser, and the first full season for Griffiths as the 8th Doctor.